Good morning, comrades. For the last 3 or by now even 4 years, the name of Apex has been strongly associated with Team Schirmer, and the name Team Schirmer has been strongly associated with the fastest BMWs on the Nürburgring. And today we're going to tell you more about what you want to hear about the upcoming BMW M3 collection of Robert. I would say it started with the fastest E92.
It really wasn't on the radar. I was actually building an E90, and then I kind of canned that. I think you saw that in a recent video of Misha's. Ended up getting the XX31 or XX31.2 as we joke about it, because there's two cars, but
something we'll talk more about.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that in another video, but yeah. It was something that I said, okay, I really, after having that E92, I loved it. It's an amazing car to drive. And I said, you know what, I really want to have some cool track tools that are built at the Nürburgring for the Nürburgring, not just general purpose cars. And so made the decision to go ahead and actually put together a collection going from the E30 all the way up to the F82, and ended up with F80 in between as well, which is the four-seater taxi, as you guys know about. We've got the E92, we've got the F80, we've got the F82, and then the next car to be built is the E36, and that's something that we've just gotten tons of questions about.
Exactly. We're also obviously going to have the E30 and the E46. This is not your E30. No. There's going to be something else, but it's kind of a teaser, I would say.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
But yeah, the first car which is in production and that we announced already last year,
right.
It is the E36, or even how we refer to it as the E36 GTR. We're going to show you, we're going to walk you through the whole build today. So actually, why don't we just immediately start? Probably the most important or most prominent thing, what people want to know about the engine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people are constantly asking about the engine. I think it's an exciting point, but it's also, I think the whole car is really a package and it all goes together. But this is a brand new CSL motor, so we've got one of the few final motors from BMW.
So it is originally factory engine that came out of the crate, so to say, that was from the factory, brand new, that you could buy back in the days.
Exactly. So that's what it is. Obviously, it's not going to be left stock. There's going to be valve train upgrades. We have obviously cam shafts that are going in it, as you can see down here on the ground.
Still in the box.
Exactly. And we've got the carbon air box. We have goals for the motor of somewhere around 415 horsepower when it's all done.
Naturally aspirated.
Naturally aspirated.
Yeah.
Yep. And as you can see, it's a brand new system. We're not taking any old parts or anything like that. So,
so everything, like also all the alternators and everything is pretty much brand new.
Yep. Yeah. So like I said, this is I guess it's in a lot of people's eyes the heart of the car. And I absolutely love the sound of this motor. You know, I think it's just one of the best sounding motors. I'm torn right now on the Nürburgring is a GT3 RS or is the S54 the best sounding motor at the moment. I don't really know. I think it's somewhere in between the two. You know.
Yeah, it's a very cool thing coming from a guy like you who has like all the modern supercars to actually. Yeah, praise the...
I think this is neat because I think that there's a certain place for supercars and sometimes it's not always on the track. You know, they're neat, they're fun, they're fast, they have great technology. But I think this goes more, it's funny, I mean, it's not that old of a car, but it's starting to get into that classic era, you know, of a car that people look back on and think of a more analog generation or a more exciting generation of cars than what you have today. And that's really what I envision for this car, is a very exciting car, something that you get in and it's a special occasion to get into.
Yeah, no, this is great. One more thing I want to say before people are going to think, I was thinking that this is actually ceramically coated manifold, but it's just cleaned up. And
they're just really clean,
completely new, yes. Another thing that I just want to quickly say is that this car is still in construction, so a lot of things are obviously, you can see that are like far from stock. But some things I just like, because there's always someone like going to be nitpicking in the comment section, like, oh my God, are you leaving this
duct tape?
Yeah, this duct tape, is it going to be there? Like, no, like it's not finished.
Yeah, right now, basically the step is test fitting everything, making sure that everything's fit properly and everything's going to work, and then the motor will come back out and get the cams put in it. And then at that point, then the transmission will be mounted up to the engine and everything will be put in for a permanent installation. So right now it's all in the mock-up phases. As you can see, it's a good, I guess, segue into the rest of the car. We have the widened fenders, right? So these are all carbon fiber. So we have carbon fiber fenders, carbon fiber doors. The whole side of the car is carbon fiber. The trunk lid is carbon fiber. The bonnet's carbon fiber. The front bumper is carbon fiber. So we need to get everything mounted and then go and start actually putting it all together to make sure it fits before the final finish.
But let's go back to the description. So we already mentioned the carbon fiber bumper.
Yeah, which is integrated with the splitter. So you have a one-piece carbon fiber front bumper and splitter, which is obviously...
might end up being expensive sometimes on the
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't.
entries.
I mean, as you can see, this is something that's very nice and not necessarily common for an E36, but the bumper, splitter, and under tray, the carbon fiber under tray, are all one piece.
Yeah, we're actually very lucky to have a stock example of a bumper here, or at least something that's not far off from being like a stock.
Right, and you can go underneath and you can see that you don't have a ton of you know, really protection from airflow or anything like that. And this is going to control the airflow very nicely underneath the car.
Now another thing in the engine bay are actually those wide
inside
wells.
So not only did we widen the actual body of the car's 6 centimeters wider at the front and 8 centimeters wider at the rear. Okay, but we've also, or they have also, I'm going to say we a lot, but it's, you know, Team Schirmer has actually also put all new panels in and created new inner fender wells. This is front and rear. Okay. And the idea is not just to be able to bring so this has the GTR axle stand, which basically means that not only is the body widened and we just put wider wheels on it, no, we've actually widened it. We can bring the wheels out further and then go with a wider wheel. So it's a whole combination to build it correctly. And this allows us to run a 10.5-inch rim in the front. So that means that it can run a 265 front tire and then a 295 rear tire. If we go with the Nankang, then it would be able to run a 295 front and a 315 rear.
315 rear.
If we go
for E36, I mean, this is just like...
And that's the same setup. So it'll be able to accept the same setups that we have on the E92.
Yeah, wow. Now, furthermore, what we see here is like pretty much a standard combination of Team Schirmer and the
so we have
suspension.
So we have the Nitron 3-way adjustable suspension with obviously their valving and their spring rates. And that's obviously going to be a well-tested setup already.
Yeah, exactly. And then the finally is like the way that the cage extends to the strut towers.
Exactly.
That's gonna like benefit the handling a lot, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah.
And as you see when you come around here, we have this is actually kind of neat. So we have a car. This car is intended to be built with about. The goal is to keep it under 1,200 kilograms. And someone might say, "Oh, my E36 is 1,000 kilos." Yeah. It's also, to get down to that weight, you are missing parts. Your aerodynamics can't possibly be correct. Our goal here is to put good parts on it, solid parts on it. Whether it be our cooling system alone is going to be probably, extra cooling systems are going to add, 10 to 20 kilograms. We have the same braking system that we have on our F80 taxi. So obviously we're going to be running, even if we fully load with 2 passengers, so a driver and a passenger, we're still going to be running 600 kilos lighter probably at the end when it's all set up in a fully loaded taxi, and we're running the same braking system, same brake discs, everything like that. So the car should be well over-engineered and ultimately be able to take advantage of the wide tires and everything like that. We didn't want to just put wide tires on and keep weak brakes on it, right? We want to be able to take advantage of every aspect of it. So you can see on the inside here that the new forming of the inner fender well is going to allow for the wider rim as well.
And as mentioned before, no, we're going to have a 5-bolt pattern for all the smartest comments out there. Are you going to have 3-bolt? Or why no central locks?
I want to be able to switch the E88s on all the cars, Yeah, so as we continue down the car, then we go to the carbon fiber doors. When we look at this, we're obviously going to have acrylic or Lexan windows. The windshield will be normal glass. That's important for cracking, just care, maintenance, cleaning, and everything like that.
And visibility too, because plastic gets...
That's what it boils down to, is when you try to clean it, then you scratch it and you can't see. But yeah, so we'll have acrylic basically on all 5 of the rear windows with little sliders so that you can get your lap ticket out the door, I guess, right? Yeah. If you come onto the inside, what we've done is the doors are all carbon fiber. So this is a carbon fiber shell completely. And what we've done here, the concept was, yes, we could have a panel here that's carbon fiber, but the idea of this car is clean, to be very, I guess, one look all the way through the whole car. So we will have just a small carbon fiber plate here, but this is going to remain painted. We'll PPF this and just leave it painted so that it's got a nice clean look to it. As you come inside the car, you can see that we've got, I don't think it needs to be explained too much, a full cage, obviously, but then we have
that's the Absolutely. One of the most beautiful parts of every Team Schirmer car is the way that they build their cages.
Right.
And a lot of people are going to ask, because in a lot of countries it is not the case. Like if you're going to put a cage in, it's not going to be street legal, but in Germany that's absolutely...
It's street legal and it will be in the papers. I mean, this car will be a Schirmer GT when it's all done.
So it's not a BMW in the papers. We explained it multiple times in the videos before. So it's to explain it very simply, it's just the same way, like for example, that BMW and Alpina have, or like Porsche and Roof. They look the same, but they're not, and thereby something's because it's the way it's being built. Yeah. Another thing that we have missed is actually next to us. Is this little box, the gearbox?
Yeah. So this is a sequential gearbox from Drenth. It's a 6-speed. Obviously, you can either have a hand shifter on the center console, or you can have pneumatic paddle shifters, and we're going to go with the pneumatic paddle shifters. We will have a secondary hand shifter, hand lever in the middle, which will be for emergency situations. If for some reason electronics went out or the pneumatics went out, we will have a backup shifter. But the main shifting will be on the steering column, on the steering wheel, through something like a KMP steering wheel, which I had in the E92 before. Mm-hmm. Everything is done. It's the newer generation, so everything's done in the steering at the steering wheel from reverse and all that. You can just basically take it beyond one, and you'll go into reverse and neutral and everything like that.
Yeah. We'll show you obviously how it works once the car is running.
That's going to be pretty neat.
Yeah.
So basically, if you want to talk about the drivetrain goes from the S54 out of the CSL into the Drenth gearbox. Then we have a driveline that goes to a differential out of a 3.0, and the reason we go with the 3.0 is because it's a lighter differential. And then we don't know the exact gear ratios yet, because the concept with this car is to gear the transmission in a way that we'll be able to get top speed of around 270 kilometers an hour. Mm-hmm. So we're actually gonna go with an overdrive, because the motor will make enough power that we can actually take 6th gear into a light overdrive and then let 1-to-1 be in 5th gear. Mm-hmm. And that will allow us to hopefully get a little bit higher top speed at places like Schradenkreuz and going down into Tiergarten after the straightaway. Mm-hmm. So that's the idea. That's the idea there. So yeah, like I said, we'll then go to a Drexler differential, mm-hmm. and then that obviously comes out to the BBS E88 18-inch wheels, AP brake system.
As well on the APs, the calipers will be APs like we have on the taxi,
exactly.
But the stock,
they'll be slightly smaller. So the actual caliper will be a little bit smaller on the rear than it is on the taxi, because the E36 doesn't need as much braking power as the taxi does on the rear.
And the discs will be stock.
The disc, I believe, will be a stock disc. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's also what we run in the taxi, so it should be perfectly fine here in this case. Now we didn't mention the dashboard. Yeah,
so the dashboard is a full carbon fiber dashboard. This is obviously one that we found and are going to be doing some modifications to. Mm-hmm. There in the center, you can see a display that's going to come out. That's going to get a AIM dash, exactly like what's in the M4, which is really cool. It's programmed that when it turns on, it says Apex on it and all these different things. So that's pretty cool. But this is a carbon fiber dashboard that's going to be completely covered in Alcantara. Mm-hmm. The windshield that we're going to put in over that is going to be actually heated, because we're not going to run AC or heat in the car.
Heated windshield in the E36.
Yeah, exactly. But that's because if you're in the car and you don't have windows you can open and it starts to steam up, then you need to be able to flip the switch and be able to heat the windshield. That's not for icy mornings or anything like that. And then as you can see up on the top of the dash, those are air vents that are piped in with a billet little coupling that can bring outside air in. We're still debating if we want that or not. I don't know if I'm gonna really bother with it. This is gonna be a car that if it's 40 degrees outside, I'm probably not gonna take it out. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be the type of car that you take out in the right conditions. Even without heat, you can take these cars out in the winter or the cooler months, because the engine and exhaust and everything makes so much heat anyways.
Yeah. And the reason why it's going to be Alcantara wrapped, you can actually see it already on the camera, is because there's lots of reflection coming in. So again, for visibility purposes, but also a bit like giving it a bit of a GT, feeling. Hydraulic handbrake.
That's the hammer. That's the handbrake's the hammer.
Yeah, handbrake is the hammer.
So on the interior, it's going to obviously be, the goal is to have it very clean. Obviously, you can see it's painted exactly like the outside of the car. We're going to have naturally carbon fiber Recaro bucket seats in it, 6-point harnesses for the driver and passenger. As you come back here, you see the fuel tank. This is a 90-liter fuel tank. So, I mean, with a S54 you're going to be able to do a lot of laps with this. I can't say exactly, but it could get up to 15 laps possibly that you're going to do on one tank of fuel. So that's going to make it nice if you want to go out and do 10, 12 laps in a morning. You're not sitting there going and refilling and everything like that. You can just do it at your leisure and not worry about the actual fuel situation. So that's going to be pretty exciting.
Again, for people who just ended up on this video and never saw anything from us, we're talking about Nürburgring laps.
Yeah, Nürburgring laps,
20 kilometer per lap, and
exactly.
not a small GT lap. So it's quite an endurance driver.
As soon as you come around to the back, obviously we spoke, it's got the Nitron suspension.
And the widened.
This back here is widened 8 centimeters total, so that means 4 centimeters per side. That means that the axles have then been pushed out probably a little bit more than that, maybe 5 centimeters to get the offsets where they want them. And then the inner fender wheels have been rebuilt so that you can take advantage of the wider tire.
Yeah, you can see it here. Again, Nitron suspension on the back, 3-way, as we mentioned, everything else.
As you come around the car, obviously, I love the look of the M3 wing that comes up and over like this. But we want something that truly works. And so we're going with the carbon fiber wing like what we've done on all of the other F80 and the F82.
Yes.
So as we open up the trunk, you can see that obviously the cleanliness of the build carries not only in the cabin area or on the outside, but also in the trunk area. I took a picture of this system, what we're going to build in here. I'll give it to Misha, and he can maybe put it in place of what this space will look like when it's all done. But it's very nice with catch cans and fuel pumps and everything like that. It'll be very beautiful sitting in the back here.
Yeah. Now, because you have a fuel cell over there and no here, and also no spare wheel well anymore, what's the back going to be look like?
Basically, we've got a. I can show you on this side over here if you want to come. We have a rear bumper that comes around very nicely and wraps in and has been modified as well. And it's basically a really nice rear bumper with an under tray.
Yeah. So, what are you going to do with the exhaust?
The exhaust is just going to be a custom-built exhaust system that comes right out the back.
So no side pipes?
No side pipes or anything like that. We don't want to catch the local road, the side of the track on fire. But no.
So you're saying that it's going to be spitting fire? It's going to be lit?
No, basically the idea. My goal for it is to. I think the Nürburgring is 130 decibels. The sound limit is to get it to 129.5 decibels.
I'm sure we can make it happen. That's going to be a very nice.
But yeah, when I see videos that these guys are doing from trackside and stuff, and you see the E36s go by and like maybe 3 or 4 of them together, they just sound amazing.
Yeah,
it's one of the best sounding cars. So I do want to get the tone just right, and I want to get it really as loud as possible. It's a car that you're always going to have a helmet on if you're on track, so you're going to probably have earplugs. We'll build an intercom into the car as well for the driver and passenger to communicate. So I do want to have as much emotion from the car as possible. I don't want it to be crazy, stupid loud, but I want it to sound really good.
Yeah. So will there be any taxi occasions on?
Yeah, I think that this is my car. This is not a car that you're going to see just me handing the keys out to all the boys, and going and having fun with it. But I will definitely do a handful of taxi laps on a track day with some people. But like I said, it's not going to be, come down, we're doing 40 laps with it. This is a car that I want to have fun with. I'm definitely always down to share my cars and have fun with people.
Basically what you did with the Pista. We only had like one track day.
We did one track day with it. Everyone got to enjoy it and experience something that they wouldn't otherwise. And now that's what I envision for this as well. I really do think I have expectations that this is going to become my favorite car. So with that being said, I think I'm going to try and keep keep it that way.
Yeah, well, very much. One thing that we haven't mentioned yet are actually the air jacks.
Yeah, so basically this car has all the ports in for the air jacks, and it is a goal to get them in and keep them in. We just have to see how we can work the details to keep basically road regulations happy with them being in there. As you can see right here, we already have the port for the connection for the air jacks. That's where the high pressure lines connect, and then the car raises up. Does it need it? No, but I guess it's a cool feature. But this also comes down to the discussion of why are we not trying to build it at 1,050 kilograms as opposed to 1,200 kilograms. This is also really nice if you want to do a wheel change or something like that. You can just potentially air jack it up. You're not getting jacks underneath the car and doing all these different things. It's just a fun little thing to have. Like I said, it's completely unnecessary, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that pretty much concludes it. I think we walked around the car and showed all the important details. So when do you think it's going to hit the road?
Well, we've been speaking about it being sometime this summer. I'm not in a huge hurry, to be 100% honest. I've got enough things going on and things to do. So if it's late summer, I'm happy. But we'll just see. I'd rather it be right, and I'd rather it be exactly how we want it before we jump on setting exact timelines and pushing.
Exactly, and all the conclusions. But maybe we can, well, I would say keep an eye out on December schedule when the track days for 2021 are going to come out, because then you probably definitely be able to
I really think that what we would do is if we were going to do a track day with it, it would be in spring of 2021. And then in 2020, if it's ready for me to drive, then I'm going to just take it out and enjoy it myself. Come to terms with the car. It's going to be a different car to drive. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a car that you really need to ring out, run high RPMs, and yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely, me too. Yeah, so for all the future updates, give Robert a follow as well. Subscribe to his channel. Is it going to be one of those fast cars that you're going to be driving slow?
I will definitely drive this fast car slow on the street.
On the street, yeah. For people who don't know what we're talking about, you just launched your new YouTube series, your Kickstart the YouTube career. We're driving fast car slow on the street, and fast cars also fast on the track. But for that, stay tuned to find out more. And for all the further information and questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and feel free to make stupid comments like, oh, are you going to leave this here as well? But make sure to mark it that it is going to be a stupid comment, because if Tom Schirmer is going to read that, he's not going to like you as a person, and we will have to ban you off our channel. So make sure to make it clear that it's just a joke. Okay, for everything else, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, share, you know how it works, and hope to see you in this car on the passenger seat next season. Bye.
Bye, guys.
And what car do you want to hear next about? Maybe the E30, but for that we'll have to wait.